Hi there, welcome to Lad Farm. Today we'd like to know how to prepare for new goat kids for effective management. As you may all know, we are now towards the period when goats really start giving birth. And so we want to know how we can be able to look after these young kids for effective management. If you've been following us, we've been promoting the approach of, synchronization. This is where you allow all your goats to really mate during the same period, and therefore the kidding season is also comes once. When they start giving birth, goats start giving birth all in the same season for a period of say 2 to 3 months. And so this means one will be having quite a number of goat kids that are being born, and sometimes actually more than 1 or 2 goats giving birth in a single day. So in order to effectively handle that exercise, it is important, first of all, to prepare the kids' pen very effectively. Remember, you've been having the previous, grass that has been housing the other, providing comfort for the other goats that you have now weaned. So at this point in time, key to do is to remove all that grass and replace it with fresh, dry grass to provide warmth for the newborns. In this case, once you do that, you should also go ahead and actually spray inside the kids' pen to ensure that it is, free from either fleas and ticks, so that when you bring in your new kids, you are sure that they have started on a good note. Remember that goats will be giving birth more or less daily, and sometimes the numbers can be overwhelming. It could be, say, 3 goats in a day, but for instance, if they are all giving birth to twins, that means you have like 6 kids. And that means, how are you going to prepare these, new mothers and their kids to effectively take care of their young ones? Now, one thing to note as you try to make sure that you don't have these challenges is to ensure that you mark each kid that is being born. For instance, you might, by the time you finish a week, say you have like 12 or 15 mothers, and if they have all twins, that means you have around 20 to 30 kids. So the one clear way of making sure that you effectively manage these young ones is to mark them. For instance, if one goat is, say we call it goat A, you'll have to now mark the kids, either A1 or A2 if they are twins. If it is goat C, you mark the children, you mark the kids C1, C2. So that means when all these kids are in their pen, you are able to identify which kid belongs to which mother. So in the morning or in the evening, when you're letting out these kids to go and, suckle, you should be able to release them in an orderly way. I think it's not advisable that you just open the door and you let every kid come out and the mothers are all over making noise. And so when you do that, you create a lot of confusion. These goats are going to come out, running and trying to, land on each mother they can get to try and suckle, and then some of them are being knocked off. So the most effective way is to ensure that you pick a pair of kids, or if it is a single mother and it has 1 child, say if it is goat C and it has goat C1 and C2 as its children, you pick those, you identify where C is and you place it there. Then you go ahead and identify goat D. If it has, let's say, a single kid, you remove the kid and go and place it to goat D. So you do that, it takes around 5 minutes to make sure that all the mothers have received. And if it has spent enough time with its kid, it will not be able to reject it. It becomes more or less seamless. So that way you'll make sure that you know which kid belongs to which mother. You may not just have it off head. Remember, some of these goats look alike. The mothers may be looking alike. Or if you've got, for instance, a Boer he-goat, in most cases you'll find that these kids tend to resemble brown heads and white back, with minor, features that might differentiate them. But if there are so many, it is easier when you mark these, these kids and be able to place them effectively with their, respective mothers. It's a paddock that you have reserved for new mothers. You can let the mother spend the whole day with its child, with its kid, or even a night. If, for instance, she has given birth towards evening and you feel that it is not adequate enough to remove the goat kid from the mother, you can seclude them somewhere and leave them to spend the night there. There it will have gotten used and marked the scent of the kid. And so when you remove them and you take them together in a confined area, once you bring them out, it will be able to quickly identify its kid following the scent. Avoid grazing, for instance, goats far away from home if it's the kidding season. Remember, if you have 3 or 4 goats giving birth at a go, it becomes very tedious to be able to trace these mothers and their kids when they are far away in the bushes. We remember, once it gives birth, it will not even bother to make noise or cry out. It will be busy trying to bond with its young one there, and so you'll have a hard time if you have an expansive area to try and trace a goat where it has given birth from. And remember, this is a rainy season, and so we have bushes around us. If it is a dry season, that would be much, much easier. But for this case, it's better to leave the goats to graze from close by their exercising yard, so that if it gives birth, you are able to bring it home closely. If you have secured a paddock where you can leave the potential mothers to graze from, then that's even better, because then you'll be able to monitor and see that this particular goat has given birth, and you take the precautionary steps. The herdsmen need to be on the alert to make sure that they support the mothers when they are giving birth. The effective support that you give them will determine whether the goat kids will be healthy or not, lame or not, if they are not, well versed with supporting the goats to give birth. This is particularly a challenge where a goat is pushing a big kid. For instance, it could even be, it may not necessarily be a first timer giving birth, but if at this particular point it fed well and the baby, in the womb is quite big, it will have a challenge pushing. More so also if reject its kids. So it's important that they have ample time. But also during this process, remember, you have a number or a mixture of goats. There are those that are not first-time mothers, but you also have those which are first-time mothers. The herdsmen and the people around should be able to have that skill to support these new mothers to give birth. You'll find that some of these new mothers try to push, but when they're having difficulty, and sometimes you find that maybe it's because the child, the kid is very big and cannot be able to to push by itself. So by having that technique of being able to support the mother as it pushes, and as it pushes, the support person, the herdsman, is able to also help as tries to pull the baby out and baby aid these goats to give birth effectively. Remember, this is one of the major challenges of goat farming when it comes to the kidding season, especially if they are first-time mothers. And you'd want to actually do that one very well, because you realize that is where you're going to, get your profits from. It's not the mother, but it's the outcome of the of the breeding season. When they're able to give birth, that's when you can be able to raise these and be able to realize, your income through the kids. So proper attention that is given to the, to the goats is very key to help them, be able to, survive and move on very well. Once these kids are born, of course, it's important that they are left within the shelter for a considerable amount of time. Say it could even take up to 3 months before you can actually remove them and allow them to be able to follow the mothers. As they are there, you're supposed to be able to see how you can make arrangements to release the kids to be able to suckle effectively with their mothers. But ensure to take care of the mothers very, very well, because they'll be able now to release this milk that is very, very key for the growth of these goat kids. Thank you very much. I hope that has been very informative. See you next time.